Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jocelyn. Today I'm going to be talking about twin flames, soulmate, karmic relationships, all that jazz. I'm sure everyone's seen a million different types of videos on this subject. I'm going to take a very different approach since all of my information is pretty much a combination of quantum physics, a little chemistry, biology, psychology, law of attraction, spirituality. It's all these things combined to really understand how much science and spirituality can combine and how they help us understand our own growth, how they help us understand our own relationships, why we attract specific relationships, why we attract even specific situations. It's really helpful if you've watched my foundational videos explaining everything, going over quantum physics and biology, talking about our cellular structure and how that works, because it helps you to understand spirituality. It helps you to understand the energy that we put out into the universe and understand what we're getting back from other relationships. I like to talk a lot about narcissism, and the whole basis around like soulmate, karmic relationships, and even twin flame relationship is the whole empath and narcissist dynamic. It's just like kind of our biggest lesson to learn from. Why? Because all of us are narcissistic to some degree. And now what does that mean? It means that all of us at some level or some degree operate from the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear. So there's this spectrum that we all fall on. There's this healthy narcissism, and then on the other opposite side of the spectrum is where like a sociopath or psychopath would land. Since everyone is narcissistic to some degree, that means that we grew up in a pretty specific family dynamic. You can jump over to my video where I explain the whole narcissistic family dynamic and I go over all of the details so that it makes even more sense. But I'm going to go over some of the basics so that you guys understand how any of this information has anything to do with karmic, soulmate, and twin flame relationships. In the narcissistic family dynamic, we have the narcissistic parent who's in control. They have all these manipulation tactics that they use, and then they unconsciously and psychologically set up a dynamic within the children of a scapegoat child. They don't really feel accepted, they're kind of rejected, there's a lot of shame, guilt, and fear projected at them, and then there's a golden child or a bully. The relationships that we grow up with in our childhood, this is where the basis of like quantum physics and science and all of that comes in. Because when you experience the relationships when you're a child, they're going to cause a brain chemical release in whatever way that you experience them. So with your siblings or with your parents, and if you have those low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear being projected at you in your experience, quantum physically, you're going to be entangling with those brain chemicals with your observation, and the atoms in your body entangle with the atoms in the person in your relationship with. And that is how you have those same exact brain chemical releases. And then I talk about in my biology video, when you have a brain chemical release, it goes into the cells of your body, it docks onto these receptors onto the cell and enters into the cell. If you're thinking an excess amount of fear, shame, guilt, thoughts that create those low vibrational brain chemicals, your cells will start creating even more receptors on the outside of the cell to take in all of that excess chemical that you are producing just from your thoughts. The thoughts are also coming from your childhood experiences. They're coming from your parents. They're coming from your siblings. So as we grow up, this is why spiritual people say you have stuck energy in your body. It's because your cells have more receptors, say, based around cortisol, or associated with the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear. It's literally stored in the cells of your body because it has more receptors that specifically take on that energy until you learn how to change your thoughts. So we have all of these things within us and within our environment that we have a relationship with. We have a relationship with money. We have a relationship with ourselves. We have a relationship with our health. We have a relationship with our body, with our sexuality, with our intuition, with our heart, with loving relationships around us, with all of these different things, with career and passion. If you are learning all of these shame, guilt, fear-based beliefs that have been passed down to you from your parents, literally, that you have entangled with when you were younger, then you take on those same exact beliefs and thought processes, and you continue to go throughout your life creating those same exact brain chemicals because you are addicted to the brain chemicals that are associated with those thought processes. How relationships come into it. So whatever you are vibrating at in each category in your life is obviously the relationships that you're going to be attracting, because they're going to be triggering those same exact brain chemical releases from when you were a child. So that's why if you've been in a relationship where you're like, oh, that's so weird, this guy or this girl reminds me of my brother or sister, we focus too much on the details that, yeah, the person obviously isn't the same person, but you have to look at the emotions around the relationship and the brain chemical releases. Do you feel a lot of good feeling thoughts, a lot of like dopamine releases, and then all of a sudden there's like this fight? It's because it's a mirror, an exact chemical mirror to what you were raised with, to the relationships that you were raised with. So this is how we keep attracting certain relationships. So not only are they a reflection of us and the brain chemicals stored within us, they are a mirror to the relationships that we grew up with that started those brain chemical releases in the very first place. So that's why when we talk about soulmates and karmic relationships are completely tied to your family. They are the karma that has been passed down to your family. And you can jump over to my other video where I explain what karma really is, how it's passed down through the DNA. It's caused by amino acids from the foods we eat and the brain chemical releases. Karmic relationships are just mirrors to your family relationships, because that's the energy and brain chemical releases that have been passed down all through your family line, generation to generation. So until you start learning how important your thoughts are and changing those brain chemical releases, you'll continue to attract these karmic relationships that will trigger those exact painful experiences or low vibrational brain chemicals from when you were a child. Soulmate, with both type of relationships, you can feel that intense connection where you're like, I feel like I know this person, I've known them my whole entire life. It's because your nervous system, the energy that you are projecting in your environment from the brain chemical releases that are stored in your cells, your nervous system will automatically look for other people that vibrate at the same exact level or the same even shame, guilt, and fear energy that you are vibrating at, just because of the relationships you grew up with. So those are kind of what karmic and soulmate relationships are and what they feel like. Here is how you meet your twin flame. This is such a popular topic. I didn't really believe in all of this, and then one day I came across twin flame information and I was like, well, that's insanely accurate. And then I started to see how popular this topic is, so I wanted to give my take on it. When you have decided to take time to yourself, to start dating yourself, start creating a relationship with yourself, and to go through this very specific process where you start changing your brain chemical releases, because that's the only real way to change the cellular structure within your body. Once you kind of get started on that path of doing that and really being aware of your thoughts, changing your thoughts to positive thoughts, and really going along this self-growth process where you are committed to yourself. And there's a combination of ways you can do that. Exercising and eating high vibrational foods and going out and being in the sun, getting that high vibrational energy or those photons of light from the sun. That will give you a high vibrational energy that will naturally raise the energy in the cells of your body. So if you're doing these type of things, like this whole process of healing within yourself, this whole self-help, getting into law of attraction, once you get to a certain point in that growth, then you will attract a twin flame. A twin flame is usually someone who comes after an intense pain that you've gone through in your life. Most likely a dark night of the soul. Maybe you even met them right before you went through the dark night of the soul, but it's usually a time where you've gone through an intense amount of pain. And jump over to my other video where I explain the whole dark night of the soul and the scientific quantum physical process behind that, why it happens. But once you come out of the dark night of the soul, you will meet your twin flame. Because you've gone through a significant amount of growth, your twin flame is kind of like an incentive to work on yourself. They are going to be a complete mirror to you in every single way. And I would highly recommend a couple of my favorite people that I love to watch. I love Teal Swan's video on twin flames and soulmate relationships. And also, if you guys follow Enlightened Soul 1111, her information is freaking awesome. But as far as the twin flame goes, it's scientifically going to come at a very particular point in your life when you've already done enough growth within yourself. When you meet your twin flame, you more than likely are at a point in your life where you almost want to be alone for the rest of your life, because you're so dedicated to your own dreams, your own aspirations, to whatever, your passions. So when a twin flame comes in, the connection is so intense. The chemical chemistry within you two is so intense and so mirrored that you will want to make a connection with that person. You will want to have union with that person, because the way the chemicals react within both of you, the way you two entangle with each other, how intense the connection is, it actually magnifies your gifts and abilities, whatever they are. Creative abilities, maybe you're psychic and you might come into union with your twin flame and you start having even more psychic visions. That's just a couple of examples. So once you experience that, then you have this incentive to really want to be with that person. But the reason why separation happens is because there's still cellular and energetic and vibrational healing that needs to be done within the cells of your body. When you come out of the dark night of the soul, you come out with some type of physical or mental illness or disease. It's such an intense process. You're going through so much pain that you have to imagine all of the cortisol that's released into your body. When you come out of it, it's such a traumatic, depressing, and honestly horrifying experience. The incentive to work on yourself and evolve and become better and really get on your life purpose and your life path is by you meeting your twin flame, because they are going to push you and trigger you to heal all of these aspects of yourself, to start healing all of this low vibrational energy that is literally stored within the cells of your body. That's the whole purpose of a twin flame. People get really confused on what specifically a twin flame, or if the person in front of them is their actual twin flame. You have to look at the process that you've been through in your life. Again, what I was saying, the way that you come into union with your twin flame, it's a combination of things. It comes back to the work that you're doing on yourself. So the relationships that you have within yourself in regards to money or career and passion, sexuality, health, every category in your life, it will push you to work on each individual category so you can come into union with this person, so that you can actually have that relationship that you've been dreaming of your whole entire life. So another way that happens, again, it happens from the brain chemical releases around the things that we have relationships with in our life. You have to purposefully start changing those brain chemical releases to change the cells in your body. And it also comes down to diet. Like, are you eating high vibrational foods? Are you cleansing? Your karma is literally passed down in the DNA and the cells in your body. And the only real way to change that is, again, by the thoughts that you think, changing those thought patterns and beliefs, And also by cleansing the crap out of your body, we have taken in free radicals from our environment, from the food that we eat, from all of these different areas. You have to go through a cleansing process, not only just because you need to heal from the dark night of the soul, but it will help you come into union with your twin. So jump over to my playlist where I talk specifically about diets and cleansing parasites, cleansing free radicals, going through that whole process, because this is the way that you actually come into union with your twin. It's by working on yourself in all of these different areas of your life, following your passion, doing the things that you enjoy in life. You just have to focus on yourself. I'm going to be making so many more videos to really describe this process so much more in depth, down to the atoms and the cellular structure and everything. So tune into my next videos. This is just the beginning and we'll kind of go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you in the next video. Take care.